I'm calling this video How I Came to Know God. I'm not sure that my understanding and my awareness is any different than anybody else's, but it's going to be in my words. I first became aware of something greater than myself, or stronger than myself, more powerful than myself, through my dealings with my parents, primarily my dad. Because he forbid me to do certain things. He would stop me when I was doing certain things, and I would obey him. And I began to realize then that there was forces stronger than myself. But there were things going on that I didn't realize, that I didn't understand. Why did I obey? Why did I listen? And then as I grew older, as most children do, we watch and we imitate. We learn how to be through watching others. At least I did. And it impressed me that this person, my dad, would go to what was, I found out later, his church, and get down on his knees and perform some ritual. In fact, become humble, if only for just a few minutes. But it impressed me. I said, what is this about? Why would this individual who dominates me be humbled in some situation? What humbles him? What has that effect on him? So I began to question. And as I got older and I could listen to his words and they started to make sense, he started to tell me about God, his understanding of God. And then he enrolled me in the Catholic system, in the Catholic school. And they began to tell me their thoughts about God. And the individuals who had been recorded in the Hebrew Christian Bible that were role models, and they were glorified and made examples of. And I began to use my imagination on these stories. And I was very impressionable, because I believed them. I believed that there was something that was affecting these people that were affecting me, and it became real. Something had to be there, so I wanted to know what it was. And I began evolving in my understanding and awareness of that concept. And so here's where I am at the present. Man, humanity, be politically correct, places itself. I don't think we've ever got out of the womb, so to speak. You know, right now we're in man's early age. It saw itself as on this planet, and that was the extent of its universe, the extent of its world. And then it began to imagine the heavens and beyond the atmosphere to the other planets, and beyond the planets, solar systems and galaxies and universe. But we're always within something, so we're always within this womb. We see ourselves as within it. And then, that was the physical side of our awareness. And then we began to realize that there was this mental aspect of us. And we started to see the mind. We became aware of the mind. And today, we have understood ourselves enough to the point that we believe that we see the world, or the reality, or what we believe is outside of ourselves through our senses. And we interpret what it is outside of ourselves through our senses. But we're not sure that we are interpreting the data that we receive from our senses correctly. We're assuming, we're building on what we were given, and we make breakthroughs when we think we've reached a level that was not considered previously. But it's all a progression. It goes outward and inward, always. So, there's a question now as to whether God is, or God really exists. And what we can say for certain is that God exists in the minds of humanity. For everything that we have determined God to be has come from our understanding of ourselves, and then amplified because of this, as I said in my situation, this being affected by something stronger than ourselves, bigger than ourselves. Freud divides the mind up into the superego, the ego, and the id. And religion divides, or some religions do, divides God into another trinity. But does God really exist? Is there something stronger? Is there something that exists and always has existed? These are attributes that we attribute to God. Well, one thing's for certain. The mind as it is in potential has existed since the beginning, and is evolving to be what it is now. In the beginning it was dormant, and it holds true for each of us. If we can see ourselves in the progression that we made, our mind for when we first had use of them, we'll be aware of it. We're blank. And then we started to inherit the past from our teachers and our relatives and our own understanding of what we are a part of. And then we took that which was given to us and we work on it. We build off of it. Or we destroy what we don't like. try to destroy. For nothing is destroyed. It's merely changed. So anyway, we live within a womb because as the concept of the flat world used to terrify people, that they would get too close to the edge and fall off. If we weren't enclosed within something, it would be very difficult for the average human to comprehend and to not suffer severe anxiety if they thought that there was no protection, there's no limits. Because without limits, what would hold us together? So we need that belief that we're within some kind of safety, some kind of womb. But where are we going? Where are we going with this concept? I see us finally realizing who we are. I see us as the ego and the superego and the id all coming together to form the whole, to realize it. But the question is there something outside of ourselves? Is there a you and a me? Well, are we all the same thing? And my ego demands that I remain unique to you. I mean, there's no way anyone else can see existence through my eyes, and I cannot see it through your eyes. We can try to communicate, and we can get very, very close to understanding each other, but there'll always be that assumption, that one difference that makes the individuals unique, that separates us. But I believe that there's a level where we can all become one, where there will be no differences between us. It still exists. Everything still exists. It only becomes linear because we need to put things. We can only examine one thing at a time, so we have to put them in a linear direction so that we can comprehend. But in truth, it's all now. It's all at one time. It's all happening at one time. The future, the past, the now is all in one. But it's at our point of development, it's too difficult to comprehend. So, we are the creators. We are what we believe we are. And what we believed we were, we no longer are. For we evolve, we change. And what we will be tomorrow well, that's going to come when the mass quits being afraid of being absorbed by the whole. And we're afraid not to be individuals, and yet we're afraid to be individuals. We all seek each other's safety. But when we're in that safety, we're in that group, we can say, I'm an individual, I'm not like you. And you're not like me. And so we keep this state of status quo. because that's what we want to believe, that's what we want to think, that's what we want. And it'll remain that way until we become brave enough to face tomorrow.